All right, welcome back. And still not all three of us, but we do have Hunter today. No Sam. I'm not sure if he'll be joining on later. Hunter, big week ahead of us. How are you doing though?
As a fight fan, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be back. We were off Spotify for a minute, but we're back now, baby.
Yeah, sadly we were off all streaming platforms for about 4 days, but yeah. Hey, we're back. You guys can listen to us. Real quick, shout out new fans that reached out to me, Steve, John, and Rich. Thank you guys for listening. But yeah, let's get into UFC 273 right away, because this card really has no weakness, I would say, from start to finish.
It's definitely one of the deepest cards you've seen, because like there's no bad matchups, and every single fight has implications in that division. So
either people possibly getting cut if they don't win.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of those stories, which a lot of times brings us on to the most entertaining fights, win or lose.
Yeah, because they're contract. I think one of those is Kay Hansen. I know if you want me to jump straight into it.
That's the first person I was going to mention too.
She's young, and I feel like that she's someone that even if she loses this fight and gets cut, she can still come back because she's super young.
She's 22.
She's 22, yeah, and she got her MMA debut at like 18. Like, she's very seasoned already, but she's coming off 2 bad losses, and I have her losing this one too. But yeah,
she did go down to her natural weight class. So the weight class should play a little bit of a factor. She should be a little bit more powerful than what we've seen. But she is the underdog, plus 100 opposed to minus 120. So very slight. I like Kay Hansen to win this fight, if I'm being completely honest, but I also said that every other time she's fought. So I've lost money by far by betting on her. Yeah, Pira Rodriguez, not a joke.
And if you've seen Pira fight, she fought in the Contender series, I believe.
Yeah.
Really good clinch work. I have good cardio. The one thing I noticed, though, in that fight was her chin. She got hit a couple big shots, but she can go at 15 minutes, the same pace. She gets stronger. She's ferocious, man. So I think she's very well-rounded. If Hansen can't get this to the ground, I don't see her beating Rodriguez.
No, and that's kind of how I feel as well. Another guy that can get cut. First interview ever on the show before you guys were even thinking about joining the show. Jared Vanderaa in a pick'em fight with Alexei Oleinik.
Yep.
Quick turnaround for heavyweight, because this is only 2 months from UFC 272.
Yeah, it's
or 271.
And that's a tough, tight fight to take.
Yeah, when did this fight become official?
This was recent because Oleinik had a different opponent a few weeks ago. He had to remember. He was supposed to fight, I think 2-3 weeks ago, and he pulled out of that fight. And now we're here with Jared Vanderaa. So
who is the favorite? I don't know how I agree with that. I mean, again, it's minus 115 to 105, so it's not really any more than pick 'em. I don't like Jared in this fight. I'm hurt to say.
It's weird though. The style like almost fits, because Vanderaa isn't awful on the mat.
No,
he's hard to take down, and Oleinik isn't necessarily, he's a great grappler, but he's not going to just double leg you, take you down. And Oleinik's lost 2 straight, I believe, too. He's on the block, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because at this point, if he loses to Jared Vanderaa, 3 straight losses, he's 40-something years old. What's the point in having him anymore? He's had over 60 career fights.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, loser probably gets cut, unless it's like a fight of the night, which very rare on a pay-per-view to have that on the prelims.
Yep.
I don't know what their contract situations look like. That could play a part of this. I would imagine a guy like Jared is probably coming up at the end of his contract, unless he just resigned. But I don't know. I think loser goes home. Loser's not being in another UFC fight, at least for a long time, if you're Jared Vanderaa, who's also young. Yeah,
and I think Vandeera's been getting outstruck a lot. I think this is his one chance he's got to win this fight. And I do think he can. Like, I'm a big Jared Vanderaa fan. I'm also a big Oleinik fan, but I think Jared actually stylistically, this is perfect for him.
Now, who did Vanderaa fight most recently?
It
was an older guy again.
He lost. Yeah, he lost a decision, I believe, to or was that Arlovsky?
Yes, yeah. Because I remember you and I basically had the exact same conversation then. You were high on Vanderaa. I was saying, I think he has what it takes to win. I just don't know if he can do it. I said
And that was a
that.
fight, but he couldn't get it done either.
So I don't know about this fight. I want Jared to win. Don't get me wrong. I think Jared actually still listens to this podcast. I'm not saying I'm not a Jared Vanderaa fan. I'm just a little worried that maybe this stage is too big for him at a younger age for a heavyweight. Like, that's all what I'm afraid of.
I think Dana definitely has to look at. He took this fight in short notice. It has to be this fight against a legend in Oleinik, and I feel like if he wins this fight, his stock went up huge if he wins this fight. So this is big for Jared Vanderaa.
Next fight is really not too hurtful, I believe, for either of these guys. Mickey Gall and Mike Mallett. I kind of feel like it's a filler fight.
It's Mickey Gall's going to be around regardless. He's a name now. He's done his thing. Mike Mallett, I don't know if you guys. I've watched a couple of his tapes. He's a fun fighter to watch too.
I know. I think this is just a fun fight. I think it fills the card, and it's not something that you're going to be too upset with when you're done watching it.
No, and I think this fight. My only thing, I don't have a prediction yet. I think it's going to decision.
I can see that.
Both too good of grapplers to anyone to get finished. I don't think anyone's going to knock somebody out. So
no. The next fight is actually super interesting because I honestly could see this fight on definitely a fight night main card, possibly the opening fight of any other main card on a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah,
Aspen Lad versus Raquel Pennington. This is main event fight night material.
It's two great names too, and Raquel's fought for the belt. Aspen needs this win. So
that was Aspen's last fight, the fight that everyone freaked out at his corner.
That was her last fight. She went back up. She went up a weight class because she was having weight issues. Now she's back down to her normal weight.
Yeah, and who did she fight though? Because I'm trying to think.
She lost the main event to. That wasn't that fight though. I know you're talking about.
No, that was that fight to Norma, Dumont. Yeah.
That was the corner work. Was it James Krause in her corner or who's in her corner?
I can't remember who was in that corner, but everyone freaked out at her because they were just screaming at her, not helping her. That's a storyline to watch.
Very true, yeah.
Because if this corner doesn't figure it out, and I think it's her boyfriend. I think that was why it was such a big issue.
Oh.
Her boyfriend was just screaming at her, telling her that she's not good enough. A lot of people criticized it. You had a bunch of other fighters who came up and said like, hey, like, I've had people in my corner saying this too. I think it's a little bit different because it is her boyfriend. She has to go home with that guy. She doesn't get that space away.
Was this during the fight?
Yeah, it was during all 5 rounds because that fight I think went to decision. Decision.
Yeah.
And it was ever since the first minute. He was just like, "You're not good enough to be here. What are you doing? You got to strike more." Like, it was not helpful at all.
Wow.
So everyone freaked out in that corner. So like, I think that's a big storyline to watch. And luckily for all of you guys, whether you guys are streaming this legally or not, you guys will be able to see this right on ESPN.
Yep.
We'll see what they censor because it wasn't great language the first time around. But we'll see. Like, this could be a very fun event with that one.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. And Aspen Lad is a championship material. Like, if she has the right corner, she can be a champ easily.
If she didn't have weight issues, like, and by weight issues, I mean she just was cutting way too much, she is probably right there for a title shot at any point. Because the way her career was trending, it was going completely in the right direction.
Especially for females, she's a finisher. She goes for that. So this is a huge fight for her. I have her beating Pennington. But I can see
plus 155.
She's a plus right now. But Pennington's one of those girls, she can make it boring, outpoint her, and win the fight. So that could definitely happen too.
I've always loved Raquel ever since the Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey, The Ultimate Fighter season.
Yeah.
This is a tough fight to call.
It's new versus old.
Where my bet is going to be, and I'm not sure if they came out with the odds on this yet, is 2 decision. I don't think you even need to say like who's going to win, or if there's like a over under 2.5 rounds, I would take the over. Just because I feel like this fight could go either way when the judges get their hands on it. It's going to depend who's in that judging circle, because if Sal D'Amato is in the judge, you have no idea what way this fight's going.
Oh yeah, and honestly, his cards are always awful. You know who I like is Derek Cleary. His cards are usually pretty normal.
You know what? This is real quick sidebar. This is such an issue that we know the judges' names and we know how much we like their scoring.
Yeah, because
we should never know who these judges are. We shouldn't have a single clue. The fact that I know who Sal D'Amato is and I know how notoriously bad he is, and that I have to look up who he's judging before I gamble is a joke. So if you guys want to have up-to-date knowledge on who to bet, make sure you follow our TikTok. So Winners Only Club on TikTok. I posted on it this week. I will also post on it, or I posted on it 2 weeks ago. I'll post on it this week. Hunter, I'm sure, is going to post on it this week.
Yep.
Who knows? We might even be together. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. This card's top to bottom. There's so many bets to make. There's so many amazing fights to watch. Just being a fight fan, it's exciting.
This next fight, heavyweight, Rosenstrike versus Tibera.
This is I believe Rosenstrike's the slight favorite.
Is this the first fight or is this the featured prelim?
I don't believe so. No.
I'm not sure where they broke it up.
I believe it goes Alex Hernandez, or was it Hernandez and Fremd, I think might be the main.
I'm looking it up right now, but regardless, until I get that pulled up, what are you looking for in this fight? Because it's another two killers.
I think Tibera needs this win, but I think Rosenstrike's he's gonna walk through him. I think he's gonna knock him out.
See, Rosenstrike needs to get back on his winning ways if he wants any chance of being relevant in this division anymore, because this division is passing him by quick.
And the tough part is this, though. He was so good so early that he fell right into hammers. He falls 3 fights in, he's fighting Francis Ngannou, you know?
Right.
You only do that if you're a dominant fighter, and that's what Rosenstrike is. I think he's still a better fighter than Marcin Tibera.
Yeah.
Gonna knock him out. But this is a fun fight. This is a fight that can headline, free ESPN cards. So
definitely. The next fight is the featured prelim, and for good reason. You can find this on ESPN. If you're looking for a new favorite fighter, you have found your guy. He is number 2.0. He is from Ireland. He is no other than Ian Garry. Ian Garry, he's not here to take part. He's here to take over. Ian Gary's got to win this fight. He's minus 365. I don't think there's any doubt. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I'm excited to see. He's got to fight a little bit better than that first fight. Look, he won by knockout
in the first round.
All of Ian Gary's fights, he's a great grappler. He did not do that at all. He had his chin up. He was standing and banging. Darian Weeks is a dude he needs to out-grapple to win this fight. And he's a huge favorite. You need to win this one. But on a scale like this, with everyone watching, the world watching right before the pay-per-view, that he can make a huge name for himself tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, this will be coming out on Thursday morning. So we're 2 days away from that. However, I'm definitely going Ian Garry. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
However, I want to real quick give a lot of respect to Darian Weeks. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Because I was watching this morning when I was waking up at 5 a.m, a Israel Adesanya little breakdown of this card. And he's saying, oh, Ian Garry, that's a fun name to watch. Obviously, he's Conor McGregor 2.0. Too bad he's fighting some tomato can. I don't think Darian Weeks is a tomato can whatsoever. No. Darian Weeks is a pretty good fighter. Now, I'm not saying he's a championship quality fighter. I'm never going to probably say that. But he's not some guy that's just going to get cut after this fight. He's going to have a fight after this. He'll probably have many fights after this. He's never probably going to be a top 10 guy, but that's okay because Ian Garry's so young, you wouldn't give him that top 10 guy.
Look, not everybody's going to be like Conor and fight freaking Max Holloway the second fight in the UFC, or Diego. Not everyone is going to do that. Paddy Pimblett and Ian Garry are doing it the right way.
There's a lot of guys that are now.
And honestly, it's the smart way to go. And even these guys are saying that now. They're like, I need time to progress. That's what Tom Aspinall said too early on. He's like, I'm not calling anyone out. I need time to get to that level. So I'm just excited to see Ian Garry, see how he is second fight in.
And I'm going to say the person who really started this and vocalized it as much as he did it the right way, because he never got on Dana's bad side. Sean O'Malley. Sean
Yep.
O'Malley vocalized exactly what he was doing. People got mad at him saying, you're not fighting anyone, blah, blah, blah. His loss to Chito Vera really is not a real loss. It was a pretty lucky spot for Vera to kick him. Obviously, it goes down into the books as a loss. But, I mean, that literally could have been done by a 5-year-old. As long as you hit that vein, his leg was getting shut down. So...
And we need to see Sean back. It's been a while since an announcement or anything about him.
International Fight Week for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's the prelims and early prelims. We didn't cover every fight. We covered a lot of them though.
I'll tell you my favorite fight on the main card. It's Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres.
Are we okay with skipping over Vince Pinchel and Mark Madsen?
I did write a note about this one.
Okay.
Pinchel, he's awkward, decent striker. He's strong. He's powerful. But I think Mark Madsen, if he fights the way he did against Clay Guida, he'll win the fight. You just got to avoid anything big, and he's a great grappler. So he's an Olympic silver medalist, you know.
Now, do you know the odds on this fight? I'm going to tell you if you don't.
Tell me.
Pinchel, -130. Mark Madsen, +110.
I like that. I like Madsen with that. That's a good slot for it.
See, I was going to go the other way.
You're going Pinchel?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Pinchel, -130. That's honestly, you really can't go wrong with either guy that you pick. There's money there to be made, as long as you actually hit on the correct spot. So call it how you see it. If you like my picks, go Pinchel. If you like Hunter's, then go with Madsen. We'll see who gets more money.
I always go with the grappler when it comes down to it on even fights. So that's just who I am.
And I usually agree, but I don't know. I just think the favorite on this one it's that Vegas edge, you know. Vegas knows something that I don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
Usually they do. But yes, no, the next fight was the favorite fight. Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres. Tisha Torres, I believe she fought for a belt, didn't she?
Tisha is not, I don't believe yet, fought for a belt.
I thought she did, but I could be wrong. Regardless, this is two people that could really put their name right back into that title conversation.
Yep.
Who do you have in this?
I have Dern. I think she's a little bit lengthier. She's gonna push her up against the cage. She's gonna wear on her. I think she's gonna get a takedown here and there. I just don't think Tisha's powerful enough. She's quick, but like I think once these grappling exchanges get going, Mackenzie Dern's gonna just be a little bit too much for Tisha to take. And honestly, this would be the biggest winner of her young career. So she needs this one.
Okay, so this is why I thought she had fought for a belt. She did not. In 2017, Tisha Torres beats Michelle Waterson. 3-round decision.
Michelle Waterson doesn't really win a lot. So
then in 2018, early 2018, she loses a fight to Jessica Andrade. Then her next fight, mid 2018, she gets a loss by decision to Jessica Jędrzejczyk or Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Then the next fight, mid 2019, she gets a loss by decision to Weili Zhang. She's been in there with killers. Then she has to fight Marina Rodriguez. Now she's fought a little bit lower of competition, most recently with Angela Hill, which I think puts you right back in the right direction. She's not a slouch.
Yeah, Tisha Torres faces only the best of the best of that division.
But with us knowing how good Mackenzie Dern is and knowing her grappling background, I also do like Mackenzie Dern to win this fight. She's also nice to look at. So let's see. What was the next fight on the card? Because now that I got off of the app.
It's Burns.
Holy shit, we're already there. So this is where you really want to pay attention. This is where the fights are that you want to absolutely see. Obviously, you want to see all the fights. But if there's only 3 fights that you want to see, these next 3 are the ones.
These are the ones right here.
Gilbert Burns. Khamzat Chimaev.
Ooh.
We're already talking when Khamzat wins. Does he fight Usman or does he fight Covington? We're not talking about what happens if Gilbert wins, which is very concerning. The odds have slightly gone back in the direction of Gilbert from plus 140 to today, plus 375. So that means the odds are only getting better than for Khamzat. Khamzat right now minus 510. He was minus 600 beginning of the week. 3-round fight almost sounds like a crime because we should be getting these guys for 5 rounds. Granted, I don't think it would even get past the second. What is your thoughts on this fight?
I think we're about to see the beginning of the greatest mixed martial artist maybe to ever step foot in the octagon. I think Chimaev has the ability to be the greatest fighter we've ever seen and walk the face of the earth. And I think he might not finish Gilbert because he's still young and he hasn't faced him in that caliber yet. I'm going over 1.5 rounds, but I'm also I think Khamzat finds a way to finish him. He's too good. Have you seen the video of him jump roping? He's like, I'm too fast for them, coach. I'm too strong for them, coach. He's a different breed of human.
Okay. So I think people are going to really hate my opinion on this one.
If you say Burns, better walk off that screen right now.
All right. I think Khamzat will win the fight.
Okay.
However, what really concerns me is he's now talking Khabib legacy. He already has now said the second that he gets the belt, he'll retire. That puts some real fear into my head, saying he knows he's probably 1-2 fights away from fighting for the belt. Granted, he wins both of them.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that now? That almost makes me think like, hey, you're just doing this to get the money and dip. You're going to get the publicity, dip. I don't like that because Burns is here to get. I've never seen Burns more motivated. He obviously killed Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy.
That was 2 rounds to 1, but yeah, he did beat him.
I don't think Gilbert Burns will win. I'm probably going to put a small wager though on him just in case. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not telling you to bet your house. I'm definitely not saying it's my lock of the week. What I'm saying is if you're putting this as that guaranteed leg of a parlay saying, oh, I'm going to add that minus 510 for Khamzat, I would have that in the back of my mind. And you can say that that's crazy to think. We also thought it was crazy that Juliana Pena could possibly beat Nunez. So if things do happen, this isn't even half of the odds of Pena versus Nunez to put it in perspective.
Or Rousey home.
So, I mean, it's not like this is an impossible feat to have. If all I'm really saying is I'm not going to bet this fight, I might put that small wager on Burns just in case. But I'm also telling you, definitely don't put this on your parlay as thinking this is your guarantee to like get a couple extra bucks because this might be what costs you.
I'm staying away from the money line in this completely. I'm not throwing Khamzat in for a parlay. I'm going over 1.5, but I am also putting like half a unit on Burns money line because who the hell knows? Gilbert Burns has faced the cream of the crop. He's knocked out with the best of the best. We don't know what Khamzat's going to do. So
of recent memory, the only person that really definitely did put away Burns, but made Burns look like he had no idea what he was doing was Usman.
And Burns was winning that fight that first round. So Burns is right there.
There's there's probably 2 fighters that can say like, hey, they were beating Kamaru Usman and like pretty decisively for at least a round or 2. And that's Burns and Covington.
Well, and this is why I think once Chimaev walks through Burns, we're going to be able to talk about maybe the greatest fighter, like I'm saying, ever. We'll see, though.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like the over 1.5, though, either, because there's a real chance that Burns gets put away early.
I don't know. I think he's going to be tough enough not to get submitted, and I think he's not going to go away on some ground and pound. I think this does go past that, and I think eventually Chimaev's going to break him down and beat him, but my lock's over 1.5.
All right. I mean, I'm staying away probably for this other than that small bet I'm going to.
Yeah.
Aljamain Sterling, first title fight of the night, first title defense against Petr Yan. Interim champ. Really the real champ.
Yeah.
Sterling plus 350, Yan minus 475. Do you think this fight's any different other than the knee than the first fight?
You know what? You guys are going to hate me if you watch some of the podcasts before. You know, I've all this Aljo slander I've given out.
Please tell me we're not both doing this.
Here's my thing. I just think I rewatched that first fight a couple times. I think if Aljo controls himself a little bit, sticks to his fundamentals, he can out-grapple Petr Yan, and he knows he can outstrike him. So I think he will out-grapple him, and I do think there's a very good chance Aljamain Sterling can beat Petr Yan in this fight.
God bless it, me too. I was watching the first fight. I'm watching the embeddeds. I'm thinking, holy cow, this guy looks very calm. He doesn't look like he's scared of this at all.
He isn't.
He's mentally convinced himself he won that fight fair and square now.
Yeah.
The fact that he's done that tells me everything I need to know about this guy. He's a champion. He really is. I'm not, I know you and I go back and forth saying how disrespectful it is that he's doing all this, how many times he's backed out of this fight. I've now convinced myself that maybe he was actually injured. Maybe he actually was not approved by the doctors.
We don't even have to convince ourselves that, because he literally was fighting through a neck thing for 6-7 years. He pulled out to officially get it fixed. And the doctor even said, you need to get it fixed. And this was before every single fight. So I don't know. I've never seen someone more relaxed and calm after getting, embarrassed than Aljo is right now. And I do think, dude, this is the same guy that submitted Corey Sandhagen early. He's a fucking great fighter. So.
And Sandhagen had his moments against Yan, but so did Aljo, really. The other thing that really stuck with me after watching Embedded was Aljo mentioned, he goes, it feels like a real fight because there's fans here finally. And I do forget about that. Like, when you're not fighting in front of fans, it's not as easy. Conor, there's a reason he sat out forever. He didn't want to fight in front of no fans. Conor needs the fans behind him. Aljo, I'm not saying is Conor McGregor whatsoever. He's not going to have the same type of fandom behind him. But having the cheers and having the oohs and the ahs and
it makes you want to
chants that come with it.
Yep.
It does help some people. Plus, Jan's corner, another part of this, not really present because they couldn't get visas out of Russia.
And here's the big thing with that too is some guys like Yan that have that killer instinct, they love to fight in those quiet spaces like that. Mm-hmm. Aljo is a showman. That's who he says, like, Jan's like, you're not a real man. Like, Jan's very old school. Aljo's like, I like to have fun. I like to just having the crowd around, having cheers. When he lands a good leg kick or he gets a good takedown, hearing the crowd cheer will make him fight a different way. 100%. There's
a real reason that Aljo was in that fight the first time. Aljo's a killer. Aljo's very good at what he does.
If you look at the strike differential, he outstruck him the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's not like Aljo just randomly was given this opportunity for no good reason. He is a really good fighter. Yep. We just didn't like the way he handled the last 12 months. That's really the only issue we had with him. And now you and I are both sitting here saying, maybe we were too hard on him. Maybe he is really good, and he is really good. I think he has a real chance of beating Yan.
100%. And honestly, champions find a way, right? This is like awful to say, but when it comes to your family and getting food on the table, if you sit there and lay like he did after that knee last fight, now you get more percentage of the pay-per-view buys this weekend. Yeah. Now you get more sponsorships. Now every commercial you're in, you carry that belt with you, and that makes you more money. So it sucks, but maybe Aljo in that moment was like, fuck this. This wasn't my night, but I know I can beat him.
I also think that Aljo was actually out of it. I mean, he was concussed. There was no question.
He was maybe a little bit concussed. He was fucking fine, dude. It's a fight. But anyways, we're back. We get to see around, see how this goes.
Now, this fight is -110 to finish inside distance. That's where I'm probably going to go.
I went under 4.5.
And what was the line on that?
I believe that was plus 110, 115.
Yeah, I got it 115 on BetMGM Sportsbook. BetMGM Sportsbook, our friends over at the MGM Resorts, they can give you that Vegas getaway away from home. Whether you are in a gambling legal state, which it sounds like is coming to more and more states, use BetMGM. You'll never be disappointed. You can also gain points. So if you guys are looking to maybe plan a Vegas trip, whether you can save up to get a free hotel room or maybe some deals off some of the shows that are being put on by MGM, it's never a bad idea to use your BetMGM account. Back into the main event of the evening. The featherweight title is on the line. Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. Volkanovski, a heavy favorite, minus 800. Chan Sung Jung, plus 550. This was supposed to originally have been the March card. Both of these, actually, the main event and co-main, gets replaced by Colby versus Masvidal, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. Another one I've convinced myself the Korean zombie has a real chance.
I think we're seeing the greatest featherweight to ever grace the octagon. And I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to get a finish this weekend.
I don't disagree. Like, it's hard for me to sit here and say that we're a gambling show and for me to tell you I have no idea what's going to happen on these three fights. Legitimately, anything could happen. It's sad, but it also sets up for a very, very entertaining weekend if you're just a fan of the sport, which we are. Volkanovski, I don't think there is any question he is the greatest, if not one of the top 3 or 4 of all time. There's probably some people that you could put their name in and say if they fought head to head, he would win. Conor McGregor. But I do think that Volkanovski is as legit as it comes. But what does fear me is some of the grappling, and that the fact is Korean Zombie has way better hands than Brian Ortega did.
Here's my thing. This is what I'm going to say. We saw Volkanovski against maybe the best grappler in the division, Ortega, in a guillotine, and he got out of it. I'm not worried about what the fuck Korean Zombie's going to do. I think also fucking with the striking, Volkanovski has beaten
Max Holloway twice.
Holloway, he's outstruck those guys. So I don't think there's anything that Volk can't do. I think we're seeing the greatest featherweight. Only person I could see beating him stylistically is a really good wrestler. And there's none of those in that division. So once Korean Zombie gets walked through, maybe his corner.
There is.
Maybe
he's number 9 right now in the rankings.
Who?
His name is Bryce Mitchell.
Bryce Mitchell's not going to touch. Well, Jesus, get the fuck out of here, Jake. I'm talking about Henry Cejudo. That's what I'm talking about. That's the only guy. But
hey, who's coaching? Who's coaching Korean Zombie right now?
I'm saying Cejudo's already preparing for him.
So I'm just saying that Korean Zombie is getting coached by Cejudo. He's in the gym every day with John Jones. This could be a different Korean Zombie. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm just going to take the over 2.5 on this. So
what's that at?
Let me check for you right now. That's probably my bet. And I mean, I know it's not the sexiest of all picks because a lot of people want me to tell you this guy's going to win by a KO or some other crazy thing. I'd rather make you guys guaranteed money than try to lie to you. It's at minus 350. So not the sexiest odds.
Jake, you've made all the fans a lot of money if they've been following your picks. So
I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago is plus 951. How much better could it get? And if you guys were using BetMGM, there was a profit boost on that. I don't even know what the boost would have went up to, like plus 1,100 or something.
Yep.
You guys could have had a real fat bank account, a real nice steak that you could have taken any girl to. They would have been so happy. Minus 2.5 is minus 350. Over 2.5 is minus 350. Over 3.5 minus 225. Over 4.5 minus 155. I don't really like that odds.
I got to the finish, which is like plus 1 something.
Under 4.5 is plus 130. That's also not a bad odds. If you want to double up, maybe the over 3.5, under or over 2.5, or under 4.5. In that little range, then you're hoping for 10 minutes of real good action. Someone getting knocked out. I like that.
Yeah.
If you lose on the early end, maybe Korean Zombie gets caught with something, or vice versa. Then you get the plus 130. You're making your money back. The worst case scenario is this fight goes the distance. So I think that's a good pick if you just want to get value from it.
And I really think we all wanted to see Holloway in this one, which sucks. So let's, make sure we know this is Zombie's kind of filling in. Korean Zombie's great, but he's no Alexander Volkanovski. He's lost to Yair Rodriguez. Like, he's amazing. He's a great fighter, but we're about to see the difference between the champ and a top 5 guy.
Agreed. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a fun fight regardless, though. I don't think there's going to be lack of energy.
No, Korean Zombie, if you guys know him, Chan Sang Jung brings the heat. So
he's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
That's our UFC 273 breakdown. Again, follow our TikTok, follow our Instagram at WOC Main, follow our Twitter at WOC Main. We'll have all the picks officially day of on all platforms. Now let's talk about outside the UFC. PFL Season 3 has announced their opening fights. Did you get the chance to see these yet?
I believe I saw one. It was Anthony Pettis is on it. A couple other big names too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's only that first week. So give me 1 second. I'll pull that up completely.
Pettis, maybe Kayla Harrison, then some other.
She's on there, and then I want to say it was a heavyweight.
It was a free agent. Yeah, I know that.
So Kayla Harrison is going to fight Marina Maknatkina. I didn't even look up odds. There's no need.
Doesn't matter. It's Kayla Harrison.
Kayla Harrison, 12-0. She's going to get that win. But she also runs this entire promotion. Without Kayla Harrison, I'm not sure PFL's around. So good for Kayla Harrison. Another $1 million payday.
Yeah.
Rory Mcdonald is still fighting. He's fighting Brett Cooper.
Who?
Brett Cooper, who's 28-15.
Jesus, that's a fucking journeyman.
And Rory Mcdonald, 22-8-1. Former UFC powerhouse.
I kind of lost. I don't not necessarily lose respect. I think he's a great martial artist, but once he said that he no longer wants to hurt people, it makes you not want to watch his fight. He said he feels bad, like he doesn't want to finish people, like he has that no killer instinct anymore. I'm like, then what the fuck am I watching this for?
Right.
Because I'm sorry, as fight fans, we like to see violence.
And Anthony Pettis versus Miles Price.
Showtime, baby.
Miles Price, 11-7.
Yeah, they're trying to give the stars really good chances to win.
Now, I don't know how much you pay attention to PFL, which is probably just as much as I do, which is 0. The PFL runs on a point system where they're separated into divisions. So my guess is this is probably the 1 versus 4 matchups, or at least I sure hope so.
Which it's stupid because Pettis went 0-2 in PFL last year.
Yeah. But they will fight each person and then they'll get a point system. I think if you win your bracket, you fight the second place from another bracket. I don't really understand it. The entire thing's kind of flawed. But it's a whole season. So if you guys like professional organized sports with standings, the PFL might be for you. The only issue is you have to find it on Fubo TV.
And it used to be
was it Tubi or Fubo?
That's on Fubo, I believe.
Okay, I don't even know what Tubi is anymore. I don't even think
it used to be on a Paramount Network or something.
It used to be on ESPN.
It was free for a while. Yeah, PFL isn't doing it. I don't even know what they're doing now. It's a great thing too. If the UFC implemented a cool season thing like that, it'd be cool. But it just you can't keep a big roster. It's a very different, Yeah,
you have to have a set roster at the beginning of each season because if someone leaves, then you're screwed. You have no more fights. It's a very cool thing if you want to follow something consistently and know who to root for and have favorites and be like, I can't wait for this guy to fight this person and make your fantasy brackets and stuff. That's cool. Not for me.
They fight twice in a night sometimes too, or I believe that, which is not.
They used to. I don't know if they still do.
They used to. I know because Lance Palmer, who's been a 2-time PFL champ, used to literally his first fight just wrestle you. It's lay on you for 15 minutes, knowing you had to fight again, and it made the first fights always not as exciting. It's a weird system, but it's not a bad promotion.
And what's cool about it is if you are someone that freaks out about fighter pay, the winner of each division gets $1 million at the end of the year. So Kayla Harrison, congratulations on your $1 million bonus. You'll be getting it in, I think, October or something.
And she said that PFL offered her more money than any of these guys. So she's probably making over $1 million every fight anyways.
Right. She has to be, because she's the only person in that promotion outside of Pettis and Rory Mcdonald, I guess. Rory McDonald's not making me try to buy this.
I would not watch Rory fight for even free.
I know. It could be literally on Nickelodeon, and I was not going to watch it, which is about where his fight should be, because there's that that amount of violence.
It's boring now. He does what he does to win, but I'd rather watch the 2006 Cubs than Rory McDonald fight.
Her name was mentioned earlier on the show, and she also talked about Kayla Harrison. Juliana Pena is on a roll, just pissing off literally everyone. So Juliana Pena, as we know, is now one of the Ultimate Fighter coaches. She will be coaching against Amanda Nunes. And instead of talking about the Amanda Nunes rematch that will definitely be happening, and there would be no other fight to be making, she goes out and calls out other tough coach that she was fighting under Misha's team, Ronda Rousey, by saying Ronda Rousey put women's UFC on the map. However, she's irrelevant and she sucks because she got knocked out twice and then never returned to MMA. Why are you doing that?
I am losing. I now want Amanda to just walk through her, to be honest.
Right.
Amanda Juliana's letting the shit get to her fucking head, and I want Ronda to come back and armbar her ass. That's what I want.
Look, I think no one would complain if Ronda Rousey said, Hey Dana, I want to be back in the UFC. One fight deal. Let me fight Juliana Pena. And I can guarantee you who literally every person in the planet outside of her daughter, and maybe not even her, would be cheering for. Oh, and Misha Tate. Misha Tate's not going to be cheering for Ronda Rousey.
Whole entire world. And who knows? Misha she might have a little crush on her low key. But if Ronda Rousey fights, the whole world comes back and watches. Everyone that used to watch because of Ronda Rousey watches again. Everyone that watches WWE will watch. Every single person. Ronda Rousey's, before Conor McGregor thing, Ronda Rousey was the thing in martial arts. So
yeah, she would put up the same numbers as Conor McGregor does. It's
crazy
to say. It's crazy.
Right
now, crazy to
yeah.
say.
Right now, Ronda Rousey, if she booked a fight, could get as much pay-per-view buys as a Conor fight would.
Yeah,
Ronda Rousey can do that. She's the only other person.
She's legitimately the only other person. As much as we love John Jones doesn't put up those numbers.
He doesn't.
So I don't know.
You get guys like Brock Lesnar and you let them juice and then suspend them for 3 years.
Yeah. easy strategy.
Yeah.
It's a nice formula. But yeah, that was only person number one that she pissed off. She then pissed off Kayla Harrison, who, remind you, fights at like 155 in this women's, like, I forget what they call it, because I don't think they call it lightweight.
They do. I think it's PFL lightweight.
PFL women's lightweight. Okay, so if that is what it's called, then that is accurate. But she's not fighting at 135 to fight you, Juliana. Like, the problem with the UFC is that there was no division for her. It's the same issue that Nunes has, which is why she never fights at featherweight, because there's like 5 people that are even on the roster at that, and none of them come close to the skill level of Nunes.
And that was Kayla's thing. She was willing to cut to featherweight at one point, but the offer wasn't big enough to put your body through that. So
one of the people that's actually,
Juliana Pena would absolutely get outworked by Kayla Harrison on any day, any night of the week, no matter what weight class it is. I think she needs to worry about the rematch because you're going to get a hungry Amanda Nunes, and Amanda Nunes is still the woman's GOAT right now. Yeah. I don't care.
This fight wouldn't be close. Kayla Harrison, as long as her, and I'm not even worried about this when I say it, as long as her chin can hold up because she lost as much weight as she does, she's going to demolish.
I think her neck will hold it all in. Her chin will be good.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, no, this is such a joke. I'm glad that Casey O'Neill, one of my favorites in this entire women's UFC promotion, spoke up about the Ronda Rousey part, saying, who are you talking about? Without Ronda Rousey, there probably is no women's UFC, because she's a trailblazer. She is the OG. Clearly there's going to be better talent than Rousey, but that's because she didn't have the same resources as like a normal person at 18 years old.
She did it all herself. Ronda made women's MMA popular.
She was learning judo under her mom. Like,
yeah, she was literally getting coached by her mom before fights. Her mom would go to her hotel room and say, "Don't strike, just do judo." Like, yes.
That would not, I agree, that would not work, and you would not get very far right now just doing that. And it's not to say that she didn't have striking, because she kind of did.
She knocked Beth Correia, one of the women's goats,
right.
out.
I don't know about that, but it's not like Rousey only had one skill. She just used that one skill very, very well, and she put a lot of people in arm bars.
And if there's a grappling tournament right now with all women's fighters, Ronda would still win that shit. Don't get it twisted. Ronda's an Olympic level athlete.
Oh, she demolishes everyone.
So
I really can't think of anyone that she loses to.
She was too confident, and she ended up losing a home, which I think right now she could come back and almost win that fight. Anyways, and then the Amanda fight, she was the same way. Ronda was so dominant for so long, she just wanted to get in there and fucking knock her ass out. I think now, if she ever had to re-enter the sport, which she won't, she doesn't need to. She's a freaking filthy rich, doesn't need anything else. If she re-entered the sport now, I think you'd see a very different approach. And I think she could still get to that point where she's a top 3 fighter for sure. And any day of the week, I think she can finish Juliana Pena, that's for sure.
I feel like the only reason we're talking about this is because of the WWE WrestleMania, she lost the belt. I feel like people are only assuming that they can talk about Ronda Rousey re-entering the UFC because now she doesn't hold this fake belt.
Yeah.
It's not fake to them. It kind of is, but she also gets paid a lot more money than she probably ever would in the UFC.
And you're not actually getting punched in the face. So
right. Like, she makes so much money. It's ridiculous. She's one of the top earners for WWE. I'm not a WWE writer, but I can almost guarantee Ronda Rousey will probably have the belt back by the end of the year. Just because I know how this thing works. They obviously want the stars that get people to buy and watch to have the championships. Because that's how storytelling goes. So
that's why Conor could get a title fight if he comes back. Because where's the money at? It's in those big.
I'll tell you right now, it's not in Leon Edwards.
It's not. And honestly, Juliana Pena, if you lost, your name's still irrelevant. Like,
right. Like, we'd be talking about Juliana Pena featured prelim fight. Like, we're not talking.
You're only going to sell a pay-per-view if you have Amanda's name attached to you.
Or if Valentina wanted to come up.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. Very true. Which I hope Valentina does.
That would set up a trilogy with her and Nunez, which I would love. Fights, actually, no, there's one more thing that we wanted to follow before fights get announced. Kelvin Gastelum, I was really, really happy that he was going to be back in the octagon. He is now pulling out due to an injury. Very sad stuff. It's hard to see because I really like Kelvin, but it's hard to say. I think his career is coming to an end.
He's not active anymore. He doesn't win a lot. I don't know, man. I think I need to see him against somebody easy. They need to stop booking him against dudes that can strike. Like, he needs to get a freaking win. If he doesn't, Kelvin's out. And I love Kelvin. He's the one guy that's pushed Izzy more than anyone else has. Yeah,
I would agree. Now, the one person that obviously gets screwed over by this is Dricus Duplessis, who's supposed to be the guy that was his opponent.
Okay.
Now, when was that fight? That fight was supposed to be this week.
It was a last second thing. Kelvin stepped in, and I guess pretty soon after that he said no.
I could have sworn this was going on for a while. I thought we knew of this.
I thought Kelvin took this short notice and then he pulled out.
I could have swore we've known about this probably since the Adesanya fight.
Gastelum Duplessis, really?
Maybe it was someone else. I don't know. But anyway, I feel like if you're Duplessis, you need to be fighting again rather soon because you're now in shape. There is a guy that I would like to see re-enter the octagon. He trains with a guy fighting this weekend. He's like best friends with him now, and they, I think, run like crypto companies and stuff. Let's let Darren Till fight. Let's get him in there.
calling out Uriah Hall.
Darren Till is the guy. Darren Till's the perfect guy for this. Because I think Darren Till beats Duplessis.
I think Darren Till should fight Uriah Hall. Get your name right back in the top 6.
I don't even think you need to do that. I think you just need people talking about you. And I think the perfect way to do that is just fight. Fight someone. Darren Till makes the press conference. I guarantee Duplessis will make more money than he would fight if he fought Till than if he fought Gastelum. And I like Gastelum. But Dana's going to say, oh, look, let's highlight this fight because I love Darren Till. I guarantee that's a main card fight.
Well, here's the thing then, Jake. How about we just make this even better? Let's just have Gastelum and Till.
Didn't they fight already?
I have a weird feeling they did too, and I just said that.
I could have swore they did too. Now, yeah, I guess if we just want to say screw Duplessis, you can find some other scrub to fight.
I think Till is too good right now to not fight a name. Obviously, it's what you want him to do is get back in there, but I think a Uriah Hall, a Kelvin Gastelum, somebody along those natures is better for him. You know what? How about this? Let me throw this out there. What if Luke Rockhold wants to come back to 185? Imagine a Luke Rockhold Darren Till fight.
I wouldn't mind it. I definitely wouldn't mind it.
The win-win
did beat Gastelum.
Till beat Gastelum.
In 2019.
Decision. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Darren Till needs to get back in the octagon. His last time we saw him was against Blonde Brunson, where he just didn't know how to wrestle. And
that was bad.
He's gone on a mental breakdown since. And I really like Darren Till. I think he's one of the most genuine, funniest guys. I talk to Darren Till's manager all the time. We would try to get him on, but because of his mental health and sometimes his ability to just blow things off, we're not really able to get him on the show.
Which is fine. You know, we love Darren.
I wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest.
I think the form is training with Hazmat, because if he can get his wrestling even slightly up to par to the point where at least he can get back to his feet, because with Brunson, he literally was just on his back the whole entire fight. And he's too good for that, man. He's way too good for that. He almost beat Whit, for Christ's sake.
So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind Duplessis versus Darren Till. Now, guy we just talked about, Von Brunson, he might be facing fat ass Paulo Costa. What do we think?
Well, Brunson don't even want to fight no more, so I don't give a fuck what he does. I hope
he's the one saying it.
Well, he doesn't want to fight. He said after his last fight, he said there's like 2 more fights in him that he's done. No matter what, he doesn't fight for the belt. There's only like 1 more fight. So yeah, fight Costa, lose, you can retire in the Costa fight. I hope Costa wins. I love Costa. I don't care what anyone says.
I just hope Costa can make weight.
Yeah,
I just don't want another situation like we just had with Marvin Vettori.
Yeah.
Because that was so stupid. Like, we had no idea up until literally they walked into the octagon if they were going to fight or not.
And it showed he looked like shit. So
yeah, I don't remember much that night, to be honest with you. We were together. So and then the other fight announced, Caitlin Chikagian, Amanda Hebas. We're just happy that Chikagian got re-signed. Like we were both saying at the last fight.
Yeah. And I think
Caitlin Chikagian.
Dude, seriously, she's fucking awesome, man. And she's a pioneer, bro. She'll fight it 4 times a year. She'll fight the same exact style every time. I think this is great because it could either be a huge stepping stone for Amanda Ribas, or Chikagian does what she always does and just outpoints you.
And to be honest, if she gets a win, I think you got to go title shot.
Rematch. Fuck it. She's not going to win, but
Amanda Ribas, you're probably 1 fight away from a championship if you win. So
yeah.
I like what's cooking in the women's MMA right now.
Now, women's MMA is on fire.
Let's talk about some sadness. We'll bring it back up with a celebratory moment, and then I guess we'll call it because I don't really have any cash or dash questions for today. Ben Rothwell, longtime UFC fighter, has been officially released from the roster.
Yeah, man, I love Ben Rothwell. He reminds me of man. I remember when I started watching heavyweights like religiously. Was you got Big Country, you had Ben Rothwell, and you had all those kind of guys. I mean, that's sad. I've watched a lot of Ben Rothwell fights in his career.
He is one of those guys that's just always been there. He's always been in the UFC. He's he's not the first domino to fall, but he's not the last domino to fall. Sad day. I mean,
I love Dana White, and like that's one of the guys like I think gets hated on for no reason, but sometimes, man, he cuts the wrong people.
Part of me though also wants to say though, with his age, it wasn't like he was going anywhere. He does command a pretty high price point.
Did you say that?
I'm not sure he brings in the same amount of views as some of these other guys.
Did you say that about Glover Teixeira?
No.
How about Dan Henderson winning belts at 45 almost?
Yeah, but Glover was always ranked.
You're right. That's a very good point. Rothwell has been. Well, what about Jim Miller? He's been fighting everybody. He's not ranked.
Yeah, Jim Miller's another one that he must have some sort of like deal with the devil. Like there's
never fight fucking top 15. Like what the fuck?
I know. Jim Miller's another one. I don't understand the Jim Miller contract because they just give him tomato cans, and then whenever he wins, we're like, holy shit! You see Jim Miller won again?
Yeah,
this guy's awesome.
He has been the top 15 guy's whole career.
Like they literally just go to the local gym and say, the local gym and go, hey, you want to fight Jim Miller this weekend? And they're probably like, do I get paid? And they're like, yeah.
Fights, most UFC wins, but he hasn't beat a single top 15 dude.
Those guys that he's probably beaten in his last like 10 fights, I imagine are like a combined 0 for 50 in their last 5 fights each.
It's always like, wow, it's so amazing to see Jim Miller do this. They don't give him nobody.
No.
So I guess it's good they kicked Rothwell out, you know. Don't give him the Jim Miller treatment.
No, I wouldn't want that for him. Because then I would just have this false hope and be like, oh man, Ben Rothwell, maybe he's gonna he's gonna be coming back now.
And then you see Jim Miller, somebody tough like last fight, and gets knocked out again. It's like, okay.
Right. So I don't really want that either. But then good news. Chael Sonnen is a free man again.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we have to say that.
Oh, Uncle Kale, man.
That man is just on a roll right now, beating court cases and having them dropped against him.
I think he has a great lawyer or something, man. But
okay, wait, real quick. I'm gonna name you this. I had to look up the Jim Miller fights. There's like 3 names on here that I'm like, okay. This goes all the way through 2018. Nicholas Mata. Eric Gonzalez. Joe Selecki. Vince Pichel lost. Roosevelt Roberts. If I didn't know, if you were just like, who's Roosevelt Roberts, I'd probably be like, I don't know, the former senator of South Carolina. Like, wouldn't know.
That's such, and he gets paid like $200K every fight.
Scott Holtzman.
Good. Holtzman's not bad.
He did beat Clay Guida.
Wow.
Jason Gonzalez. He lost clearly to Charles Oliveira.
There you go.
Beats Alex White and then loses to Dan Hooker.
His last fight?
Well, no. This was in reverse order. This Dan Hooker was 2018 when he was still fighting guys like Pettis, Poirier.
Well, this what happened in 2016, 17, and 18. They gave him people that, hey, Jim, prove to us you can beat good people. We'll throw Charles Oliveira out at you. Oh, L. We'll throw any decent name at you, you're gonna lose. So now they said, fuck it, we're just gonna give Jim Miller fucking garbage cans.
During a stretch, his only fight was Alex White. He had lost to Oliveira, Dan Hooker, Francisco Trinaldo, Anthony Pettis, and Dustin Poirier.
And that's why you don't give him tough guys, because he gets his ass kicked.
Surprisingly, he's only 38. I could have swore he was older.
Oh, Jesus. Well, now we know Miller fights on
random. He was only 32, like 34, 33 during those fights.
That's crazy, yeah.
I guess it's okay, but whatever. I still don't like it. He should be cut. And so should Sam Alvey.
Don't break all these fucking records for a reason. You fucking fighting bums.
Sam Alvey's still on the roster, by the way.
Yeah, I don't fucking like his smile or anything about him.
I don't like anything about that man.
Not even fun anymore, dude. He's actually just looks like shit.
He just literally sits there and just goes, "I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get paid." And yet, then every time he fights, everyone on Twitter is like, "So Dana, you got to be cutting this guy, right?"
Every time he fights, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, whoever's commentating, talks about how tough Sam Alvey is because he's always getting punched in the face.
If the announcers are talking about how tough you are, it usually means you're a loser.
It's not a good thing. Yeah, it's never.
Actually, that you did bring up a good, real quick last point. Why is DC not on this card tonight or Saturday?
The Cain Velasquez stuff is still like hitting him deep. He hasn't really been on since then.
Well, I know the one was his mother passed away.
The same week with the Cain thing. I think there's just a lot going on in DC's life, which sucks because DC is honestly, and I hated him as a fighter because I was a big John Jones guy, but he's seriously one of the best commentators, one of the best dudes out there. So,
and I will say, I think Felder's better than Bisping. I love Paul Felder.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be Felder, Anik, and Rogan. Wish it was DC. Nothing against Felder because I think he's a great replacement. But, but that's everything. And if you guys have any questions, you guys want to follow us on anything, make sure you guys go over to @WOC Main on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you guys like everything and shout out Howlerhead. Make sure if you guys are watching the fights this weekend, you guys sit down with either a shot or maybe a mixed drink. My favorite is a Howlerhead shot with a little bit of root beer. Tastes like a little bit banana. You get a little bit of flavor there. But yeah, make sure you're drinking responsibly if you are 21 or over. If you are not 21 or over, you should not be drinking anything. Wink, wink. All right. We'll see you guys next week. We'll have your full breakdown next. See you guys.